If a woman isn't interested, you'll feel it. She won't initiate, avoids deep conversations, and always seems busy. She flirts with others, keeps distance, and forgets details about you. Her attention is fleeting, leaving you uncertain. Interest shows through effort. Disinterest shows through consistent absence. When a woman isn't interested, one of the clearest signs is that she simply doesn't initiate contact. You'll notice it in the small things at first: the lack of a good morning text, the absence of a casual check-in, the silence that stretches longer than usual. While someone who cares will find ways to reach out, even during a busy day, she won't. The effort to start a conversation, even a simple one, feels like too much for her because she doesn't feel invested. It's not just about texting or calling, it's about the energy she puts into the relationship. When a woman is interested, she looks for reasons to connect, even in small ways. She remembers moments from previous conversations and brings them up later. She sends a message not because she has to, but because she wants to. But when she's not interested, you'll notice that your messages are always the first, that your calls go unanswered, and that any attempt on your part to keep the conversation going is met with minimal effort or delayed responses. It's exhausting because it puts all the responsibility on you, and no matter how much you try, the energy never balances. Another thing you'll notice is the tone and depth of her replies. When she initiates, even if rarely, there's usually warmth, curiosity, and an interest in engaging. But when she doesn't care, her messages are short, indifferent, and lacking emotion. Even the questions she asks are generic, showing no real desire to know you better. It's a subtle but powerful signal that she's not present in the connection. Her silence isn't just about convenience. It's a reflection of her emotional investment, or lack thereof. Interestingly, the lack of initiation can also manifest in social settings. She won't seek out your company at events, won't make an effort to be around you, and won't create opportunities to spend time together. You might notice she's okay if you make the plans, but she doesn't contribute to the momentum of the relationship. It feels one-sided, and that's because it is. A person who's genuinely interested will create moments, look for ways to be present, and show up even when it's inconvenient. It's important to recognize this pattern without overanalyzing or making excuses. Often people try to justify her silence. She's just busy, or she has a lot going on. While occasional busyness is normal, consistent lack of initiation is a signal. It's a reflection of priorities and interest. If she wanted to engage, she would. Effort is not about perfection, it's about intention. And when the intention is missing, no amount of chasing will change it. The absence of contact is a quiet, yet unmistakable way a woman communicates disinterest. It's not always dramatic or confrontational, but it's consistent, and it leaves you carrying the weight of the relationship on your own. Recognizing it early allows you to save your energy, respect yourself, and redirect your attention toward connections where interest is mutual, where effort is shared, and where engagement comes naturally from both sides. When a woman isn't interested, one of the most telling signs is how she avoids personal conversations. You might notice it in subtle ways at first, in the way she steers every discussion back to surface-level topics, or keeps her answers short and non-committal. She won't share her thoughts, feelings, or experiences in any meaningful way. And when you try to open up deeper conversations, she either changes the subject or responds with minimal effort. It's not about being rude or dismissive. It's a protective mechanism. If she doesn't feel a connection, she won't allow herself to become vulnerable. Personal conversations are the bridge that builds intimacy. They allow two people to understand each other on a deeper level, to feel seen and understood, and to create emotional closeness. When someone is genuinely interested, they engage in these conversations willingly. They ask questions about your dreams, your fears, your past experiences, and your emotions. They listen attentively and respond thoughtfully because they care about understanding who you are. But when a woman avoids personal conversations, it's because she's not invested in building that bridge. She's keeping the relationship on the surface, avoiding emotional depth that could create responsibility, attachment, or expectations. This avoidance isn't always obvious at first. She might smile, laugh at your jokes, or engage in casual banter, which can be misleading. But if you try to talk about something personal, your goals, your fears, or even your feelings about the relationship, she shuts down or deflects. Her attention feels conditional, and she never goes beyond safe, neutral topics. You'll notice that while she might enjoy light, entertaining conversations, she consistently avoids moments that require vulnerability, introspection, or emotional effort. Another way this manifests is in her lack of curiosity about your inner world. She won't ask meaningful questions about your life, your experiences, or your emotions. Even when she does ask, it feels mechanical or obligatory rather than genuine. There's no follow-up, no true engagement, and no desire to understand the nuances of who you are. Over time, this creates a sense of emptiness in the connection because intimacy is never developed. You're left talking to someone who is present physically but emotionally distant. Avoiding personal conversations also affects how she communicates in group settings. She might be lively and engaging in a crowd, joking and talking casually, but the moment there's an opportunity for deeper one-on-one conversation, she withdraws. It's not about disliking you or being uninterested in socializing. It's about protecting her emotional space. She's clear about her boundaries in subtle ways, and if she doesn't feel a spark of interest, she maintains distance to prevent any emotional attachment from forming. Understanding this pattern is important because it allows you to read the signs clearly. Emotional avoidance is not something that can be fixed by chasing, convincing, or overanalyzing. It's a reflection of her interest or lack of it. Someone who wants to connect on a deeper level will make the effort, ask the questions, and share themselves openly. When that effort is absent, it's a silent, consistent message. She's not invested, and it's not about you. It's about her choice not to engage emotionally. Recognizing this truth saves your energy, respects your worth, and opens the door to relationships where emotional intimacy is mutual and genuine. When a woman isn't interested, one of the most obvious signs is that she's always busy. At first, it may seem normal. Everyone has responsibilities, work, and personal commitments, but the pattern becomes clear when her busyness consistently keeps her from making time for you. If she were genuinely interested, she would find ways to make space in her schedule, even small moments, because interest shows through effort. But when she's not invested, she uses busyness as a polite excuse to avoid spending meaningful time together. This busy behavior doesn't necessarily come with confrontation or rudeness. She might respond to your messages late, cancel plans at the last minute, or say things like, "I have so much going on right now," and it will feel believable. The thing is, someone who truly wants to be with you doesn't let a busy schedule prevent them from connecting. They rearrange priorities, carve out moments, and show up even when life is hectic. But when she's not interested, she won't go out of her way to be present. Time is a reflection of desire, and consistent absence signals that you're not a priority. You'll also notice that her busyness is selective. She might have time for friends, family, or social events, but not for you. She doesn't make an effort to initiate meetings, casual hangouts, or meaningful conversations. Even if you manage to see her, the energy feels strained or minimal, as if she's mentally checking the minutes until she can leave. It's not just about being physically present, it's about being engaged. And when interest is lacking, engagement is shallow at best. This pattern also affects how she communicates digitally. Messages are delayed, texts are brief, and she rarely initiates conversations. Even if she responds, it feels like a formality rather than a genuine desire to connect. The tone often lacks warmth, curiosity, or emotional engagement. Over time, this creates a sense of imbalance. You're investing energy, planning interactions, and hoping for attention that never truly arrives. You start feeling like the only person driving the relationship, and that's emotionally exhausting. It's important to understand that her busyness is not always a lie. She may indeed have obligations, but her lack of effort to include you in her life consistently is the message. Interest isn't about perfection, it's about intention. Someone who wants to be with you finds ways, even small ones, to show up. Someone who doesn't, regardless of the reason, communicates it through absence. It's subtle, consistent, and often easy to rationalize, but it's still unmistakable. Recognizing this pattern early is crucial. Chasing someone who's always busy drains your energy and self-worth. It's a clear indication that she doesn't prioritize the connection, no matter how much you want it to work. Instead of convincing, chasing, or making excuses for her, it's better to redirect your attention toward people who are willing to invest their time and energy. Mutual interest shows itself in presence, effort, and engagement. And when those things are missing, it's not about fault, it's about clarity. Time is a reflection of value, and if she's always busy, it's because for her, you simply aren't worth the time. When a woman isn't interested, one of the most confusing yet revealing signs is that she gives mixed signals. This behavior leaves you questioning her intentions, doubting yourself, and overanalyzing every interaction. One day she might seem warm, attentive, or playful, and the next she's distant, cold, or indifferent. The inconsistency isn't random, it's a reflection of her lack of genuine investment in the relationship. Mixed signals are often subtle, but they carry a very clear message. She's not committed and she doesn't prioritize the connection. Mixed signals can manifest in various ways. She might flirt one moment and act uninterested the next. She could respond to your messages enthusiastically at times and ignore them entirely at other times. She may make vague promises about plans without ever following through. These behaviors are confusing because they create hope where there is none. When someone is truly interested, their actions and words align consistently. Mixed signals, however, are a red flag that her attention and energy are not steady, and they leave you feeling uncertain and emotionally off balance. One of the reasons mixed signals are so misleading is that they trigger your desire for connection. You find yourself holding on to the moments when she seemed interested, trying to make sense of the times she pulls away. You might think, maybe she's just busy, or maybe she's unsure of her feelings. But the truth is, mixed signals are often a tactic of emotional distance. She may engage when it's convenient, safe, or entertaining for her, but she won't consistently invest time, energy, or emotion. The inconsistency itself communicates disinterest. It's not about confusion. It's about her boundaries and her lack of commitment. Mixed signals also affect how you interact with her. You begin to second guess yourself, constantly analyzing her words, tone, and body language. You wonder if you did something wrong or if there's something you're missing. This is emotionally draining because you're trying to decode a pattern that doesn't exist in terms of genuine interest. The attention you get is conditional, fleeting, and unpredictable. When interest is real, you don't have to guess or overthink. It's clear, consistent, and reassuring. It's important to recognize that mixed signals are a form of communication, even if unintentional. She isn't simply being difficult or playful. She's signaling that she doesn't want a deeper connection. The warmth you sometimes experience is temporary, a glimpse of possibility that keeps you emotionally invested, but it doesn't reflect her true level of interest. Understanding this allows you to stop making excuses and stop chasing the fleeting moments of attention. Mixed signals leave you exhausted because they create emotional imbalance. One moment you feel hopeful, the next you feel rejected. You begin to invest more energy into reading her behaviors than enjoying a healthy, reciprocal relationship. Recognizing that her inconsistent behavior is a clear indication of disinterest is liberating. Interest shows itself through consistent actions, genuine engagement, and steady effort. When those are missing, no amount of analysis, persistence, or charm can change the truth. She's not interested, and her mixed signals are her way of keeping you at a distance without confrontation. When a woman isn't interested, one of the most revealing signs is that she doesn't remember details about you. At first, it might seem minor, a forgotten story, a missed birthday, or a vague recollection of something you mentioned. But over time, it becomes clear that she's not investing mentally or emotionally in knowing you. Remembering details isn't about being perfect. It's about showing care, attention, and genuine interest. When she consistently forgets, it's a subtle but unmistakable message. She isn't engaged in the connection. Details are the building blocks of intimacy. When someone is truly interested, they listen attentively, remember small moments, and bring them up later. They notice what makes you happy, what frustrates you, and the little things that matter to you. This isn't just about remembering facts, it's about emotional investment. She recalls these details because she cares enough to be present, to pay attention, and to integrate them into the relationship. But when she doesn't remember, it's a sign that she's not present emotionally. She's not prioritizing you in her mind, and that absence of effort reflects her lack of interest. You may notice it in casual conversations. You tell her about something important, a goal, a dream, or even a challenge, and later she acts as if she never heard it, or she might refer to something incorrectly or overlook details you've shared before. It feels dismissive, even if unintentional, because remembering those things requires only attention, not grand gestures. Interest shows in the small things, and her inability or unwillingness to remember signals that she isn't invested. This pattern also appears in how she engages with your life outside of conversations. She doesn't ask follow-up questions about events, achievements, or experiences she should know about. She doesn't show curiosity about the people, places, or things that matter to you. A person who is interested will remember, ask, and engage. She doesn't because the emotional effort doesn't exist. Her attention is minimal and transactional, enough to be polite, but not enough to demonstrate care. The absence of memory also impacts how you feel in the relationship. Over time, it creates a sense of invisibility, where you wonder if she really knows or cares about you. Emotional connection requires being seen and understood, and forgetting details communicates the opposite. You start questioning your importance in her life, and the imbalance grows. You invest energy in recalling her words, remembering her life, and noticing the things she misses, but she does not reciprocate. Recognizing this behavior is critical. Forgetting details repeatedly is not a sign that she's preoccupied or absent-minded. It's a reflection of priority. If she were interested, she would remember the moments that matter, because interest isn't just expressed in grand gestures. It's expressed in attention, awareness, and emotional presence. Her inability to remember demonstrates disinterest, not necessarily malice. It's her way of showing subtly that she's not invested in building intimacy. Noticing that she doesn't remember details about you is a wake-up call. It's a consistent signal that the emotional energy you seek from her is missing. Recognizing it early allows you to protect your energy, stop chasing someone who isn't present for you, and redirect your attention toward people who engage fully, notice the small things, and show interest in knowing you deeply. When a woman isn't interested, one of the most obvious signs is that she flirts with others openly. You might notice it in subtle ways at first: a laugh a little too long at someone else's joke, lingering glances, or casual touches with other men. But over time, it becomes a pattern that's hard to ignore. She doesn't feel the need to hide her attention for someone she isn't invested in. Flirting, in this case, is less about intentional harm and more about signaling her disinterest. When she's not connected to you, her energy is free to roam, and she shows it without hesitation. Flirting openly when there's no interest in you is a clear message about where her priorities lie. She isn't creating boundaries or being mindful of your feelings because the emotional investment that would require doesn't exist. Someone who genuinely cares about you, even casually, tends to moderate their behavior to maintain respect and avoid unnecessary tension. But when she's not interested, there's no reason for restraint. Her actions communicate indirectly what words might not. She's emotionally available elsewhere, but not for you. You might notice this behavior in social settings. She could joke, tease, or engage with other men in ways that feel playful, but the underlying message is clear. She's not reserved for you. She's not invested in building a connection with you. These moments can leave you feeling insecure or questioning your importance, and that's exactly the effect of disinterest. It's not malicious, but it's intentional in its consequence. You notice because deep down, you're hoping for attention and care, but she's showing you that her focus and energy are elsewhere. Another aspect of this behavior is how it affects your perception of the relationship. You might find yourself overanalyzing interactions, wondering if it's harmless or meaningful, hoping she'll turn her attention back to you. This is emotionally draining because it creates imbalance. You're seeking connection while she's signaling freedom and detachment. Flirting with others openly is a reflection of her boundaries or lack thereof regarding you. She's essentially showing that you are not a priority and that her emotional energy is not directed toward cultivating closeness with you. It's important to recognize that this behavior is not about you doing something wrong. Her choice to engage with others is a reflection of her own level of interest, or in this case, disinterest. Someone who wants to be with you will naturally limit attention toward others, or at least moderate behavior in a way that shows consideration for your feelings. When those boundaries are absent, it's a sign that she does not value the connection in the same way. Open flirting also communicates her comfort in keeping things casual and non-committal. She's signaling availability elsewhere, while emotionally keeping you at a distance. This behavior over time creates a sense of tension, uncertainty, and lack of security, exactly what disinterest does. Recognizing this early allows you to stop rationalizing, stop chasing, and instead focus on relationships where respect, attention, and emotional investment are mutual. When she flirts openly with others, it's a clear, unmistakable signal. She's not interested in pursuing something with you. The attention she gives elsewhere, intentionally or casually, is a reflection of the absence of investment in you. And acknowledging this truth allows you to protect your heart, your energy, and your self-respect. When a woman isn't interested, one of the most telling signs is that she avoids both physical and emotional closeness. This avoidance is subtle at first, often appearing as casual distance. She may stand slightly apart, limit physical contact, or hesitate to engage in moments that naturally invite connection. On a deeper level, she resists emotional closeness by keeping conversations surface level, avoiding personal disclosures, and steering clear of vulnerable topics. This behavior is consistent and intentional, even if she appears friendly on the surface. Emotional and physical distance is her way of signaling disinterest without confrontation. Physical closeness is one of the most instinctive ways humans connect. A hug, a touch on the arm, lingering eye contact, or simply being near someone are all forms of nonverbal communication that convey warmth, care, and investment. When she avoids these gestures, it's not because she's shy or awkward, it's because she's not emotionally engaged. Someone who's interested finds opportunities to create small moments of connection, even unconsciously. But when she deliberately maintains distance, it reflects her desire to remain detached. She's protecting her emotional space and making it clear, without words, that she does not intend to become closer. Emotional closeness follows a similar pattern. She won't share her fears, dreams, or vulnerabilities, and she avoids listening to yours in any meaningful way. When you try to deepen the bond, she changes the subject, laughs it off, or responds with minimal engagement. Her avoidance communicates that she does not want to invest emotionally. Genuine emotional intimacy requires effort, trust, and willingness to be vulnerable, and her consistent resistance indicates a lack of interest in building that trust. You might notice this behavior in everyday interactions. She doesn't initiate hugs, casual touches, or moments of affection. She keeps conversations functional, light, and safe. She avoids spending time alone with you for extended periods, often preferring group settings or circumstances where connection is diluted. Even when opportunities for closeness arise, she subtly withdraws, creating a barrier that prevents intimacy from forming. This isn't accidental, it's a pattern that communicates her priorities. The impact on you is significant. Avoidance of closeness creates feelings of insecurity, distance, and longing. You may feel frustrated, confused, or like you're constantly chasing her attention. Every attempt to bridge the gap is met with resistance, leaving you emotionally drained. This imbalance is a natural consequence of disinterest. A person who truly wants to connect will make closeness feel easy and reciprocal. When it doesn't, it's a clear indication of where her heart and attention lie. Recognizing avoidance of physical or emotional closeness early allows you to understand her true intentions. It's a consistent, observable behavior that reflects her lack of investment. You don't need to overanalyze or make excuses for it. Interest naturally expresses itself through presence, warmth, and effort. Her distance, both physically and emotionally, is her way of communicating disinterest quietly but effectively. Avoiding closeness is not a reflection of you or your worth. It's her choice, and her consistent behavior sends a clear message. Emotional and physical distance, when persistent, signals that she does not see a future of intimacy with you. Recognizing this allows you to step back, protect your energy, and focus on connections where closeness, warmth, and genuine interest are freely given. When a woman isn't interested, one of the most frustrating and emotionally draining signs is that she makes you feel uncertain about yourself. This uncertainty doesn't usually come in the form of outright rejection. Instead, it's subtle, inconsistent, and persistent, leaving you second-guessing your actions, words, and even your worth. She may smile, laugh, or show occasional warmth, only to withdraw suddenly, sending conflicting signals that make you question her feelings. Over time, this inconsistency creates a sense of doubt and insecurity, and that emotional tension is a clear indicator of disinterest. Feeling uncertain around her is not accidental. It's a natural byproduct of her lack of genuine investment. When a woman is interested, her actions align with her words, and her behavior reassures you. You feel seen, valued, and appreciated because the connection is reciprocal. But when she isn't invested, every interaction becomes unpredictable. You never know if she's truly engaged or just being polite, which leaves you constantly analyzing every detail. Did she like that message? Did she enjoy spending time together? Is she thinking about me at all? This constant questioning is exhausting, and it's a reflection of her lack of commitment to the connection. This uncertainty also manifests in the way she communicates. Sometimes she responds quickly, shows enthusiasm, or seems genuinely interested, and other times she ignores messages, cancels plans, or acts detached. The highs and lows of her attention create an emotional roller coaster where brief moments of connection are followed by withdrawal. These small glimpses of engagement feel rewarding, which keeps you invested, but they are not indicative of genuine interest. They are simply a pattern of inconsistency that signals disinterest. Another aspect is how she interacts with you socially. She may act warm and friendly in group settings, but distant or aloof in one-on-one moments. She might flirt with others or share attention elsewhere, leaving you to wonder where you stand. This emotional push and pull makes you question your value and your place in her life. When someone is truly interested, their behavior is consistent and their attention is directed toward you in a meaningful way. Disinterest, however, thrives on ambiguity and keeps you guessing. It's important to understand that her behavior is not about you failing or doing something wrong. The uncertainty she creates is a reflection of her priorities, not your worth. Someone who wants to connect doesn't make you doubt your value. They reinforce it through consistent actions, engagement, and care. Feeling unsure in a relationship is a sign that the emotional investment is one-sided. She's keeping you off balance, not because of any flaw in you, but because she hasn't chosen to invest in you. Recognizing this pattern is crucial. The emotional tension, self-doubt, and anxiety that come from her inconsistent attention are not signs to work harder or chase more. They are signs to step back. Interest is demonstrated through reliability, attention, and genuine engagement. When those things are missing, no amount of effort on your part will create them. Her actions, not her occasional warmth, reveal the truth. She's not invested, and her behavior is keeping you uncertain as a way of maintaining distance without confrontation. Being around someone who makes you feel uncertain is exhausting and destabilizing. Understanding this behavior allows you to protect your energy, preserve your self-worth, and redirect your attention toward people who show interest clearly, consistently, and sincerely. Emotional security is a choice, and if she's making you feel unsure, it's a clear sign that she's not choosing you. In the end, the truth is simple. Actions always speak louder than words. A woman who is truly interested will show it through effort, attention, and consistent investment in you and the connection. She will initiate, engage in meaningful conversations, make time, and create closeness without hesitation. But when she's not interested, the signs are clear. She won't reach out. She avoids emotional depth. She's always busy. She sends mixed signals, forgets the details that matter, flirts with others openly, distances herself physically and emotionally, and leaves you questioning your worth. Recognizing these signs isn't about blaming her or doubting yourself. It's about seeing reality clearly. It's about understanding that your time, energy, and heart are valuable and deserve someone who matches your investment. Chasing someone who isn't invested only drains you and keeps you from the connection you truly deserve. True interest is consistent, genuine, and unmistakable. When you see the patterns of disinterest, it's not rejection, it's clarity. Step back, protect your heart, and focus on relationships where effort is mutual, attention is given freely, and closeness feels natural. Respecting yourself means respecting the signals reality is giving you. Love, attention, and emotional energy should never feel like a battle. They should feel reciprocal. When someone shows disinterest, it's a gift disguised as a challenge, a chance to redirect your energy toward people who value you, cherish your presence, and make you feel secure, seen, and wanted. Your worth isn't defined by who chooses to ignore it. It's defined by how clearly you recognize it and how wisely you invest it. The signs are there, consistent and undeniable. And when you pay attention, you gain freedom, clarity, and the power to step into relationships that truly honor your heart.